This episode is sponsored by Enviro-Clean Scotland.
Delivering innovative drainage, industrial and environmental solutions. Find out more at evcsl.com or call them on 01355 268 282. Welcome to the latest episode of the Let Me Be Frank podcast with myself, Simon Houston, and the man himself, Frank McAvenny.
How you doing?
You okay?
Yeah, good. All good.
Yeah.
Busy week.
Aye, and you're going on holiday for a few days.
On holiday, yes.
Are you off to?
Going to Maldives.
Brilliant. So we'll be doing the podcast when you're away. So we're going to be experimenting with you doing a Zoom call.
I'm doing a Zoom because we've got some guests. Yeah, we've got some good guests coming on.
Aye.
So
well,
if I'm sober, what time is it? Depends on the time difference.
So, before we go any further, we're going to introduce today's guest. So, obviously, the fallout behind or after the Celtic AGM is still very much, everyone's talking about the absolute
disaster.
Did you watch any of it?
Yes.
Aye.
It's embarrassing.
I'll get your thoughts on it in a wee second.
I can tell you the name, it's embarrassing.
We have Des McLean, the comedian, and Jim Orr, the playwright, and Celtic fan and a bit of a Celtic historian with us today, and they have a show at the Pavilion next year, which we're going to hear all about. Gentlemen, welcome. Thank you very much
Thanks for coming in, guys.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here finally on this brilliant podcast with lots of views. We're here just for blether. We're not really here to plug anything.
Hiya.
And if you know the history, yes. It's funny, by the way, this could not be more topical.
I know.
At the moment, all we're hearing is sack the board and all this. And this is a period when we really did sack the board back in the 90s, that crazy time. It starts off just after the Frank McAvenny final, also known as the Centenary final, when you scored a couple of goals. It starts when we were papering over the cracks, and then it goes right to the 90s, until we were 8 minutes from disaster when Fergus came in, and that's what this play's all about, and it's brilliant.
You may have watched the episode a couple of weeks ago with Brian Dempsey on talking about that very day when the bank was
I didn't realise it was that close. I knew it was close.
Yeah,
but because I knew Matt McGlone and all that, Matt's my pal and all, and I knew what the boys were doing, but I didn't know it was that close, Jim.
I think Brian Dempsey is one of these guys who should have been more involved after Fergus took over, because when you know what Fergus was like for us, and you thought Brian's like
a plan.
plan got to stick to the plan, which is in the play. So anyway, notwithstanding that,
okay.
I think Brian Dempsey, from the moment that he was kicked off the board until the game is over there, was when he was the guy that's done the most, and he's such a humble guy, he wouldn't say too much about it, but behind the scenes I think he's the guy that spent the most time, the most effort, the most money to get where he managed to get to, and how that links back to the play, because the play's all about that time period, and Des plays a character within the play who keeps the audience up to date with what's happening behind the scenes, type of thing, and you get to the end of the first act in that one. It's the night that Dempsey's been kicked off the board. And the thing was, Dempsey was never really on the board. He came on the board in the May 1990, and he'd the guy with all the ideas. There's Rob Royston, there's a place to move to, he had the money. He's got these meetings every single week with a board of, incompetent people, and he's got all the ideas, having to take all this stuff, and then 7 months later, he's going to be ratified to be put on the board, and then Christopher White, Michael Kelly go behind the scenes and kick him off. How must you have felt? If you're Brian Dempsey, lifelong Celtic fan,
I know.
You're on the board, you've got all this in front of you, and you're looking at the other members of the board thinking, in a couple of years' time, I'll be actually running the show here. So all of a sudden, you're kicked off the board. The embarrassment he must have felt, and that's the point that the character Des make at the end of that, whereby, because it happened 2 days before the League Cup final against Rangers, and there's an older person in the play.
When Joe scored.
No.
Like
the League Cup final, was that the Paul Elliott?
Paul Elliott goal. So there's an elderly fan in the play says to the Des character, no, we've got more important things. The League Cup final Sunday, to which the Des character says, no, what happened tonight will have severe ramifications, and they've picked a fight with the wrong thing man, and they'll live to regret it. I don't think Brian ever said that, but that was the feeling at the time, that once he was kicked off the board, what are you doing? What are you doing?
And you lived through a lot of that. You were quite active, were you not, in a lot of the kind of...
Well, I was involved in something called Save Ourselves at the time, and that came as a direct result of Brian Dempsey being sacked that night. And after he was sacked that night, you thought, what are we doing here? And about a few weeks later, we lost the League Cup final extra time that day. I was listening to Radio Clyde, and some guy comes on and says, I'm going to start a campaign. And I thought, I'd quite like to involve in this campaign. And long story short, I get involved, and we formed this thing called Save Ourselves. We had a couple of kind of large public meetings in the Shelton Halls, February 91, December 91, and we managed to convince Brian Dempsey to come along. I won't bore you with the long story that's behind that. But basically, he then came on. That's the first time he had a public appearance, and you could tell he wants to do something here. He wants, but the kind of guy he was like, he'll say all the right things because he's a politician at the end of the day, and he'll watch what he says. But behind the scenes, all the stuff about buying shares and trying to stop AGMs and doing EGMs, I think Brian was pulling the strings behind all that.
Right.
If anyone writes a book, he should write the book because and I know that Fergus gets all the credit, but Fergus actually played quite a small part in that story, in that play, because he comes on at the end. There's the one you take over.
Fergus said to him, me and you, if we play our cards right, we'll leave here with a lot of money. And Brian didn't want it. He said, I don't want it. I made a lot of money at Celtic. I just want them. A lot of people just go for money now. I mean,
of course.
For somebody to say that, when they could have, because let's be honest, the wee man with the bonnet walked away with it fair. But he done what he said in the tin.
He paid them off.
He done what he said in the tin. He says, I'm going to walk away after 5 years. You're going to be new stadium. It's new financial.
But he also paid, he made sure he paid all the debts. He paid everything.
Paid everything off,
he said, I could go into liquidation here, but I'm not going to bother, and all that. So
he invested 9 and walked away with 40. But then he would say, well, anyone else who bought shares, you made the same as well. So, and as you said, Frank, he did exactly what he said in the tin.
That's it.
So the show itself. So there'll be obviously the people who remember it at the time. It'll be fascinating for them, but it's such a massively important part of Celtic's story. But there's a bit of fun and laughter in it as well.
Well, the main thing's fun and laughter.
Well, in the face of adversity, humour is born in it.
Who's the funny part?
Yes. So, in amongst all that, cheers for that one, Frank.
Well, why don't you, before you do that, why don't you, we'll get a nice plug in early on.
Right.
So, dates and times and all that.
So, right, so
Christmas presents.
Obviously, it's a wee stocking filler for Christmas, right? A nice wee, easy Christmas present for any Celtic fan and every Celtic fan of any age. That's who all loved it, and it's not until next August, but it's one of the ones, a wee present for Christmas, and it's got a nice sell-by date right up until August, right? So tickets are going well. So that's it. And
I'll be there in the first.
And it's in the Pavilion Theatre, the People's Theatre, right in the heart of Glasgow, Pavilion Theatre, and tickets are from £25, aren't they? Yeah.
I'll be there in the first night.
Right. Brilliant. Well, it starts off, they're shouting one McAvenny, so you can stand up and go, one McAvenny, right? Like that.
Thank God, there's only one. Thank God.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So that's it. It's in Pavilion Theatre. It's next August, but tickets are going fast, and it's a perfect Christmas present. So when you think back to the 90s, you think, Oasis, Blur, Take That, the Spice Girls, and all that, and so Train Spot and all that, and you think the 90s, it was just there, but the 90s, 1990 was 35 years ago.
Yeah.
35 years ago.
Thanks for that.
We can see an advert for it. We'll see an advert. Well, let's show it now.
Choose the Kellys and the Whites. Choose not the View. Choose Once a Tim. Choose the Taylor Report. Choose Dempsey. Choose Save Ourselves. Choose Cascarino. Choose Neuchâtel Xamax. Choose Always Look on the Bright Side of Life. Choose Canvas Slang. Choose Celts for Change. Choose Sack the Board. Choose 8 minutes from liquidation. Choose the Bonnet. Choose the game is over. The Rebels have won. Choose becoming the most successful football club in the world 25 years later. Ho ho! Choose And If You Know the History, starring Des McLean. It's hysterical. It's emotional. It's brilliant. See the Pavilion website for details. The ideal wee Christmas stocking filler. Go there. Ho ho ho!
So that's good, and that sounded like Billy Connolly.
And it was Billy Connolly.
Was it? He got big in himself to do it.
I couldn't believe Billy agreed to do that one for me. It was brilliant. So it's based obviously in the train spotting and all the madness, and when you see that wee clip, Jim put that together and it was about 2 minutes long, and I says there's too much to tell. You can't leave this out and that out, and then we squeezed it down to that wee bit there. And when you think about it, Neuchâtel Xamax getting pumped 5-1 and all that. How bad? I mean, Celtic fans are moaning just now about things, right? Yes, things.
13 titles.
Right, 13 titles. And I'm not sticking off the board or anything like that. I'm not, right? But however, that, when you think back then, Celtic were 5th in the league and all that, and getting pumped 5-1 with Neuchâtel Xamax and, signing Wayne Biggins and Carol Muggleton, Rangers were going for 9 in a row. They were really trying times.
I always remember... at the end of the season, remember the season, it was when 91, because it was the Motherwell Dundee United Scottish Cup final. Celtic lost the replay at Hampden to Motherwell 4-2.
4-2, yeah.
And at the end of the final league match, Tiger Tim did the tannoy stuff at Park.
Yeah.
So the players are going around doing their kind of lap of honour. And I always remember Tiger Tim saying, let's hear it for Scottish Cup semi-finalists. 4th in the Scottish Premier League. Scottish Cup, whatever round they made it to, and expecting
Who was the
everybody
manager then?
Liam Brady.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure it was Brady. Was it not Brady?
91.
Aye.
I think I came back.
You came back 92, 93 season. But I remember thinking, can you imagine the Celtic support now? Imagine the young guys of the Green Brigade, right?
Oh,
putting up with that.
they wouldn't be there. They wouldn't go to the games.
Do you think they would all be singing "Always Look on the Bright Side"?
No
chance. No chance.
But that to me, that was a wee moment in time where I thought that's how bad Celtic were in that 5 or 6 year period where there was no silverware at all.
Yeah.
In between the Joe Miller final and the Pierre Van Hooijdonk Cup final, nothing.
I stopped going at the end of the season that Dempsey kicked off the board because basically it's part of the campaign. You can say, well, you would never tell Celtic fans to boycott games. You're never going to tell Celtic fans, they're never going to boycott games because Celtic means everything. Yeah. But the only way this is going to change is if you stop going to the games. So I stopped going from the end of that. I had a season ticket for the Stand. So that was like May 91 that finished. So from May 91 until Ferguson took over, I never went to Celtic Park at all. So these are all stories to me that this happened and that happened. Yeah. And what happened is bit by bit, more and more people stopped going. And what you also had back in the day wasn't people having season tickets, which is a huge cultural change. Because back then, as you'll know, once you go to January and the league was finished, the attendance just dropped off significantly.
Terrible.
You know, so what then happened is year after year, the average attendance down and down and down till you get to the point Ferguson almost comes in whereby you're getting a crowd at a level that you can't sustain the club and you're £6 million in debt and the bank are saying give us the money or else that's it finished. And Brian told the story obviously last time he was on, that's who you're going to call. You don't call Ghostbusters, you call Brian Dempsey. And that's why when you think of it, when it came to their darkest hour, who did the board call? They called Brian Dempsey. You know, and that's why I think that he's the guy, you know, that doesn't get the credit. And I know he's a bit like Fergus, some people like him, don't like him, but he doesn't get the credit he deserves.
Well, I was going to make that point.
He did.
And the comments,
done very well. The comments were
really it surprised me a wee bit because I do, you know, obviously our memory starts to play tricks on you a wee bit, but you know, I remember a few people being a bit cynical about Brian Dempsey and his role in it all.
Of course, and that's in the play as well.
Yeah,
but there's
an awful lot of affection for him in the comments. A lot of people saying that man is just Celtic through and through.
Absolutely,
and what he did needs recognition, you know.
Absolutely. And what we try to do in the play's about, there's a character Des plays, but he can then describe it more about. But the other part of it is a family, basically a Celtic supporting family. So there's a mum and her teenage son and her dad. So her dad is very much, you can't slag Celtic. You know, she's lived through an era, you know, the 20s and 30s and 40s, you can't get jobs if you're a Catholic, blah, 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 blah. But the young son, the teenage son, he's at uni, he's buying Not the View, and he's kind of saying, no, there's a lot of things behind the scenes here. And the mum's in the middle of this. But obviously, as the years go on, the mum goes toward the son, but the old guy still very much, the board will sort this out, of course they'll sort it out. And then goes, how the hell are they going to sort this out? Because what then happens is in the centenary season, Celtic were never in debt up to the centenary season, and they went to £2 million.
And that was it.
Aye, that was. But during that centenary season, they done it at the front of the stand, and that's when they went into debt, about £2 million in debt. And then every year after that, 2 million debt, 3 million debt, 4 million. Then the tail report comes out. You need to build a new stadium. 5 million in debt, 6 million in debt, need to build a new stadium. How are you going to do that? You're never going to do that. No. And who did they call? Mr. Dempsey. Yeah.
So the show as well. So you get to do some of your voices and so on.
Well, when you think back, there's
20.
There's we counted about 24, 25. They're all in there. All the usual culprits: Billy Connolly and Alan Partridge and Jim Bowen and Ramsey.
He just has to say Alan Partridge. I start laughing
all the time. Here's to how and cashback and China in your hand.
Colombo.
That's
I like Colombo the best.
So you forget all these.
Who's your Colombo? I like Colombo the best.
What's this karaoke impersonations? So they're Colombo's on it. It's funny because like all the older ones would come along the Saturday matinee. No, the older ones would come along, I'll get a wee fish tea in the matinee and it's the Pavilion, right? And the Colombo got a round of applause because I thought it's all the Oldians, right? Can I just say something, sure? That explains that one, sure. That explains. Now they're all, that's marvellous. They don't know who Alan Partridge is, but the Colombo, that's marvellous, that is. So I remember that. So they all love that. So it's horses for courses, but the amount of impersonations that are in it, because you think back then in the 90s, Bullseye was the #1 show on the telly on a Sunday and all that. Staying a Black Saturday, you get up for 2 in the bed. I know it's easy at home, folks. You love a bit of Billy. Frank loves his all. Anyway, when they say so we can say that, can't we?
Aye, you can say what we want.
The
best part of that programme was this is what you could have won.
Of course, that's what you could have. Big boats, and it was a speedboat going up Cranhill Flats. The guy said 3 for the top Cranhill Flats. You've just won a speedboat. There you go, a speedboat there. And so you forget. So it was the reason that was such an incredible thing back in the day, you know, if you organise something nowadays, what do? You go into a WhatsApp group chat.
Yeah.
There was no like the mobile phones and all that. The mobile phones came out maybe early 90s and they were the size of a house brick. Nobody had them, you know. It was like Harry Enfield character and that, right? So there was nothing like that. There was like 4 channels.
Yeah.
And so that's when the old Not the View and all these fanzines, which were like the football equivalent to the Viz, when they come out, you're like, these are brilliant. I mean, it's tragedy, but it's brilliant.
To mobilise a movement, a fan movement, that's a really good point you just made there as well. Like, you don't have that ability back in the early 90s to basically say, right, who all wants to go to Shettleston Town Hall?
You're phoning landlines and house phones, and if they're no in, what do you do?
Yeah, so you did leaflets, and you went up to Celtic Park and handed out leaflets in the freezing cold, and every second person would tell you.
There was quite a few involved
Back to Ibrox.
behind the scenes. It was
what we did is you're saying, all you want to do is you're not happy with how things are going. This was the point. Rangers hadn't won 2 in a row yet, you know, but you could see what was going to happen. And unless people stop going, because if you keep going up and giving them your money, here's White, here's Kelly, take my money, they've got no incentive to do anything. So you always knew that things had to get worse before they get better.
Yeah.
And it took up to 94. It took another 3 years after that.
So the initial Save Ourselves was probably was a kind of slow burner beat, I suppose, wasn't it? If it was 91 to 93.
It fizzled out. But basically, it was there from that point. I said that Brian Dempsey kicked off the board, and basically the objective was to try and get some form of communication to the board. Now, you had the Celtic Supporters Association and the affiliation, but they were kind of in with the board. They get tickets for the big games. Yeah. So nobody was actually saying, hold on, you know, look across the city. Here, look at their stadium, because they'd built their all-season stadium. That was finished by 1981-82. Yeah. You know, 40,000, phenomenal stadium. And look at Celtic Park. And then what the board would say is, Celtic fans like to stand. Do they? Do they? So, and obviously after the tragedy of Hillsborough, that's what forced the agenda. Yeah. You know, the stadium.
Of course, as well, though, for younger people watching this too, maybe don't appreciate that the Ibrox rebuild, a lot of that was to do with Ibrox disaster.
Again, that's in the play as well. So,
so their kind of hand was forced a little bit in that respect.
I wouldn't say the hand is forced, but that's in the play as well, in terms of the Ibrox disaster happened, and as I said, there's a bit in the play about that. And then what happened next was basically, as Willie Waddle at the time said, we will never have a disaster like that again. Yeah. So they decided an all-season stadium. But at that point in time, as a fan, you're thinking, an all-season stadium? That's never going to happen. That's just fantasy.
Of course, Aberdeen had already done it. Were Aberdeen?
I think it was benches they had.
Benches, but still, I remember Pittodrie with the first.
Frank would have played at the time. It was all standing virtually. Celtic Park maybe something like the current South Stand. That's what they had at the time. The rest of it all, you're just standing at that point in time. So that was like science fiction to think an all-season stadium.
We won the league at Celtic Park. Official attendance was 34,000 with all board. I've never seen it so busy.
The Dundee game was about
70,000.
Unbelievable.
And they were spilling onto the park in the whole.
34 or something like that. 39 maybe.
And that was actually my incentive.
There was people getting crushed that day.
Oh, but my boy at Palin off in Mountain was in a wheelchair, and I was like, what happened to you? He says, nothing, it's the only way I can get a ticket.
And that was 878.
His pal wheeled him in.
His
pal wheeled him in.
This is the younger people don't realise the fact that we used to go to the stand at the time, but you turn up at Celtic Park at 2:30 and walk into the stand. You got a ticket for a game, walk into the stand. But the Dundee game, we thought, well, we could win the league today, so we'll go a wee bit earlier, go 2:15, say, and go to the stand, and it was stowed. And we were in the back row, but people were just standing, you know, tons of them. But at that point, I think we should buy a season ticket so we're guaranteed to get in here.
We could have won it a week before at Hearts, but we didn't want to do it. It was terrible. Tynecastle was in a hell of a state. Yeah. So we didn't want to win it.
So just put it on ice until the following week then. Cool.
What was the word
we got a draw.
Ross Desmond used to describe the Celtic support last week?
Billies.
Billies. There was another one as well. It was
anti-establishment.
Anti-establishment.
There's a lot of similarities in it. History's
completely. I was going to say, I'd quite like to get your take on what when you watched that statement. And did you agree with a lot of people that it was almost like predetermined that they knew if they threw a grenade in, it would create a situation that was...
I think so.
Untenable.
That's it. And it gave them an opportunity to cancel it.
Yeah, well, I'm a kind of substitute person for somebody who's in the Celtic Fan Collective. So if he can't make it, I go along to the meetings. Yeah. And I was there at the meeting before the AGM, and what they were planning to do was basically, let's get numbers there for a chain. There was nearly 1,000 people went there. So great, let's get numbers there. Let's get there early. Let's get near the front. That's where the mics are. Let's boo them when they come in and show red cards. He thought, that's all right, that's pretty tame compared to some means it could have been. Yeah. And then what they were going to do was, they normally show like in a half a video every AGM to say, aren't we so good? Look at us. And what they said is when they put that on, some will ask them nicely, can we maybe skip that this year because there's so many questions to ask? And they asked that, and that's when Peter Law said, no, we're going to adjourn that for half an hour.
Right.
And then that was a bit of a shock. And then when they came back, he then said, and by the way, we're stopping at 12:30. So that was like antagonistic straight away. So obviously there was all these questions to ask. We've adjourned it for half an hour. We're definitely stopping at 12:30. And what I thought, maybe that's the question next, what would I have done? If I was Peter Law, I'd have walked in there, take the booze, take the red cards, settle everyone down, say, look, guys, I know you're all passionate here. We're all here for Celtic. And I know you're angry about lots of things. But the plan today is we'll stay here as long as you want.
Yeah.
We'll stay at 5 o'clock if you want. We want to answer all your questions. Maybe we can't answer them the way you want, but we'll stay to 5
That's
o'clock. Calm down and relax. And the people are speaking here, obviously, listen to what they have to say. You may not agree with it, but let's do that. We're all here for Celtic. Off we go. But what they did was just the complete opposite.
But because they knew they couldn't answer certain questions.
But the statement that Ross came out with, he's not even on the board, is he? He's not even on the board for. I know he's his son, Dermot's son, but he's not on the board, so he shouldn't be speaking.
Absolutely. For the whole thing's bonkers. He turns up
been speaking. If anyone should have done that, it should have been Peter or Michael. That's what I was thinking.
That's how that works. Yeah.
And I'm thinking it's just like Dermot going, you go and speak to him because he wants Ross to look after. He's not going to start if he's going to look after Celtic.
What's meant to happen?
He's going to be one of the
totally
custodians.
alienated himself, exactly.
I know.
What's meant to happen in an AGM is the chairman or the chief executive, they'll do the talking, unless and then the manager, over to the manager's report. So if there was a non-executive director, which Desmond does, if there was something specific to say, you would say, well, let's go over to this guy to talk about that specific thing. But he wasn't talking about something specific. It was just, as you said, bad stuff.
Have a right pop at the supporters. And it was all the supporters' fault.
Correct. Yeah.
So we're going to show another photograph, and I've got a confession to make. I was a wee bit anti-establishment in the end of 1993. So myself and my brother and a couple of pals were up during that protest, and we had a banner and it was a wee dig at Michael Kelly. It was remember the Glasgow's Miles Better campaign.
I did dug a big hole for him.
So we came up with well, it wasn't me. I was just going along and make up the numbers, but they had a Celtic's Miles Worst banner. You remember seeing it at the time, but it was so Michael Kelly then came out. I'm pretty sure it was him. And was asked about it, and he said, well, there's no chance those young guys come up with that idea themselves. They're obviously been operated by someone, i.e. Fergus McCann or whoever, which was a wee bit insulting because we were all in our 20s and we could have come up with an idea like that. But when you listen to this, listen to the way that they were talking at the AGM as well about the very dismissive way.
I thought they were right in the front foot for the start, and I thought you shouldn't have done that.
But it's a wee bit kind of history repeat.
I think Michael Kelly also said something about going back to your housing schemes. I think he had some sort of phrase like that back in the back to peripheral housing schemes.
I thought it was an attack.
But I think Celtic fans have been accused of entitlement. I don't think we're entitled at all. I would say that's what the Kellys and the Desmonds have in common. I think they're quite entitled. I think the Kellys and the Whites thought, well, this is our club. We ain't leaving. Yeah. And they talked down to the fans. And the Desmonds are doing the same thing. I think this is our club. Talk to the hand. The biggest problem is Dermot's got money. The Whites and Kellys didn't.
Yeah. No, they were just old men who'd no business acumen. They were just old guys.
No, but that's the difference. You can get it.
Whereas Desmond has got power.
I think he would want to come in and make peace with the supporters because listen, there's certain sections of the fans. There's things that we shouldn't do, but I'm sure the supporters will say, yeah, okay, that's out of order. We shouldn't have done that, but let's sit down and talk about it. You can't just keep blaming everyone.
Correct.
Because it's not everyone.
Yeah.
There was enough bad feeling as it was, and for him to go in and say that,
that was it's a big brush that they're tarring everyone with. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely.
So what happens next? This is a really tricky standoff, isn't it?
I think they're both doubling down, and I think the gap is going to split.
Worse. Yeah, it's going to get worse.
And the big fear that's going to affect the team because I think the standards which was pretty duff at the moment, and I think all you got to do is put a decent run together. Yeah, we'll win the league. I think okay, but in today's news across the city, they've just binned their chief executive and the sporting director. They're not messing about.
No, they're not.
No. They're not
and there's only a gap of 5 or 6 points.
5 points.
And I mean, okay, without saying that the Hearts challenge is over because it's very much not, but they've obviously dropped a few points. So you're going to have 3 teams potentially floating about at the top of the league as we get into the new year. And Celtic need to be on the ball.
It's all about the transfer window now. If Celtic can kind of just get to that, and then this is the board's chance to kind of go.
But the injuries Celtic have got at the moment.
Incredible.
Is there an olive branch by both sides?
I think it has to come from Desmond's side. I don't think it will happen. And I think
But surely Peter or Michael can say to him, like, we'll do it, and speak to them and say, we'll do the olive branch. Because they're businessmen. Surely they want to, they know that they've got to come together. And it might not come from Dermot, but I'm sure Peter and Michael could maybe do something.
I think you see the two statements, Frank, that Desmond has issued, that everything was the manager's fault, everything's the fans' fault.
I know.
He's not taking any responsibility. No. I don't see that he's going to back down. I think somebody like him, he doesn't get to where he is without being ruthless.
What's he got, 37%?
Just under 36%, yeah.
So he's not even a majority shareholder, but I know he's got the backing of others.
Yeah.
But surely the other board members should say, hold on a minute, why are you making these statements? It should go through Celtic.
Exactly.
It should go through the board.
Exactly.
And then you can say the board. So everyone's saying Celtic board, but it's not a board. The board's not haven't done anything,
I think
really.
it's a matter of when you put square pegs in round holes, then you end up getting what you get. I mean, our chief executive has never been a chief executive. So you take, and obviously I told you, if he's a very good lawyer, you make him a chief executive, and we can't get transfers done, we can't do a whole lot of things, and you blame the chief executive. No, you blame the person who made him the chief executive. It's a bit like putting you in goals. Yeah. You put Frank McAvenny in goals and he loses 5 goals. McAvenny, what are you doing?
Wonderful.
Who put him in goals? Who put him in goals? It's his fault. Why are you all booing Frank? It's him who put him in goals. So if you put square pegs in round holes, that's what's going to happen. And that's why we don't have a dynamic chief executive whereby if a statement comes across his desk that says, Dermot would like to put this out, you think, we're not open that out.
There's nobody there with
That's what I thought. Somebody should have had to look at that and say, whoa.
That takes a set
of
boys.
He'd done that himself. He'd never done it through Celtic. He'd done it himself.
Especially after his dad's blistering attack on Brendan Rodgers.
I wonder if he actually showed the board before he put it out.
That's a good point.
I wouldn't have thought so, because surely somebody, knowing Peter and Michael as a lawyer, they'd have said, hold on, you can't do that.
Do you think that was a plan B statement? He had a plan A and a plan B, right? If the crowd were nicely behaved, he had a plan A statement going, right, we're going to try and communicate. And then the plan B was, you know what, you're a bunch of...
My take on it is that it was only plan A. The plan A was, let's create chaos here so we can retreat, chuck a grenade and retreat,
and then run.
And say we can't conduct this meeting in these circumstances.
But if things are that bad, it's sad, isn't it? That's why I think any more of this carry on, then you're going to let...
I can't believe we've won so many titles and all that in this state. I just don't understand it. That back in the day, it was when we weren't winning anything.
We're 5th in the league.
Yeah.
No money.
But we're winning title after title after title.
I think it's Europe though, Frank, isn't it? I think it's the fact that
it was the January transfer window was the sore one, wasn't it?
You could always say that away game in Munich last season,
that should have built from that.
That was a point, exactly. That was a point. It was almost like they got really close to beating Bayern on the night, potentially going through, and just come up that fraction short. And then after that, from that night, it's almost like the tools are put away a wee bit. Yeah. And by the way, I mean on the park as well. I just feel as though the players all thought, well, the league's won, and then that cup final against Aberdeen, one of the worst performances in many years.
I left.
Everything just,
And they never replaced Kyogo and things like that.
And a lot of the players, and Kuhn, let's be honest, we focus, they never replaced him, but he never kicked his backside for the last 4 or 5 months of the season.
I think that the manager said something just before the Champions League qualifiers. What we don't want to do is manufacture our own stress. Mm-hmm. And I think Celtic's history is a series of manufacturing your own stress. And if you look back to that period, the late 80s, early 90s, and how this play starts is the family are coming back singing One McAvenny, and the old guy's in raptures, and the young guy says, well, I hope we now start to spend from a position of strength. Mm-hmm. And the old guy said, I don't need that. And he said, no, we do need that. And a few weeks into the season, we get Gub 5-1 at Ibrox, and that's the start of 9 in a row.
You can't blame me for that. I was in hospital. They broke my arm. I scored.
I know you.
And then by the time I got to hospital, it was 3-1. It was 1-0, and I went off.
Right, okay. Who had 28 minutes in the suite for when Frank was going to talk about scoring at Ibrox?
But when you go back
to... That's a good point, though. It wasn't his fault.
It was my fault. I'm not taking that.
Good point, well made. But if you go back through Celtic's history, they do manufacture their own stress at those points. That centenary season, what a team. Mm-hmm. And then we did nothing over that summer. 9 in a row then happens. The following season to that was the Mo Johnson one.
Yeah.
And we could assign Mo Johnson, legally he was ours, but we thought, and that was huge, not doing that. And you know the kind of player Mo Johnson was. And at the time, the rumour was that Charlie Knight was coming back at the same time. Imagine Nicholas and Mo Johnson up front. They wouldn't get past 2 in a row. They'd been stopped then. But we let that happen because, again, we manufactured our own stress.
Yeah.
So the story in the play starts after the centenary season, just after the cup final, pretty
Well,
much.
there's a bit before it, just as a wee kind of historical lesson.
But I take it you don't have an opportunity to include Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
Well, they sang my name at the start, didn't
Well,
they?
because
Say
we
his
only
name
come
at
on
the
and
start.
talk about that. I know that because you just scored on the.
I'll go to it. You're talking about the Mr.
Teddy
Butcher.
Bear.
Because have you been following the news over the last few days?
I followed that after a few messages from my old pal, Mr. Butcher.
Aye. Has he messaged you?
No, he hasn't messaged me back. You're joking, aren't you? I messaged him. I did ask him to come on the podcast, but I'm going to be honest with you. After seeing him on that one, I'm so glad he never come on because what a boring shit he is.
Hey,
There you go.
there you go.
There's a TikTok clip of him.
That's an exclusive. A hot potato, cherry butcher.
He's blamed
raspberry.
everything. He's blamed everything for
Back of the
everything.
net.
By the way, before we go any further, at some point we need to get Alan Partridge interviewing Frank McAvenny, but we'll come back on in that second. No, but I mean, look, I also sent him a message too to ask him to come on the podcast.
It's 40 years ago.
All he needed to do was send a message back to
that
say,
how long
no, I'd
that
rather
was?
not, you know.
See,
But
I think the problem with Terry is
God.
West Ham relegated Ipswich
right,
at Upton Park when I was playing.
nothing to do with you getting him into court or anything like that. No.
No, but that's a heartbreak. He kicked another door in at Upton Park, so that was another door he
But
kicked in.
were you just not all laughing and joking, going up to court? And you see, I remember you saying, I think for a Catholic
Terry
state.
doesn't laugh and joke, but nothing. He
So
was no.
he wasn't.
I was there having lunch with him and all that. You know, having
but he
lunch
wasn't
with
all right about it. No.
I thought it was all right. I never knew there was any. I mean, I've been in his company many times. If there was a problem, he's never said to me.
That's strange.
So he was very blatant about it.
Unfinished business. I didn't know any. I played. He broke my arm.
Aye.
He snapped my arm. It was him at the 5-1 game.
Right.
We were 2-1 in a tackle, and he jumped up and listen, deliberate or not, I'll tell you now, he deliberate. He broke my arm.
Right.
I didn't say anything about it. I got a couple of weeks off training. I was thanks very much, Terry.
1-1.
But I never said them because these things happen in football.
But just to clarify then, so he goes on this other podcast and he basically says, no, Frank McAvenny and I are finished, but then he goes on to say we've got unfinished business, so it was a contradiction a wee bit.
Yeah.
But he did say that he said that he wouldn't want to come on this podcast, which is fine.
That's fine.
He doesn't want to speak to you ever again, but you've got unfinished business. But is it, so in all those last 40 years...
He never forgave Maradona, so I'm in good company.
Aye. Well,
Yeah,
you and
good company.
Diego, aye.
Me and Diego, brilliant.
But you've never in all those years, you never bumped into him at a function or anything like that. Never kind of.
I don't know, probably have. And I've says hello to him, and he's never says nothing. I would have remembered.
Yeah.
I would have remembered that, but he's never a lot of crap.
Because it would be good, you know, it would.
Let's get something right. The fault, he says, it's my fault.
Aye.
Me and Chris, we pulled away from each other, and he came in and shoved me as I was walking away. As I was backing off, he shoved me. So he got us all sent off. It wasn't me, it was him.
Aye.
I always had goalkeepers, and me and Chris had separated.
Yeah.
And he came in, and then Rob would come out the top.
Aye.
Frank, where was the cavalry? Where was the Celtic players?
They
that
were all
day?
running away. They were all running away.
This is a popular topic for the podcast. We discuss this game probably on a
Where was the
weekly basis.
Hondas? Where was the Hondas, big chap?
Andy Walker's take on it was that Big Billy had said, "Don't get involved,"
Aye, well, he said
and
that-
Frank was the only one that got
He
involved.
said to me, "Don't get involved." Whispered to me in the way out, "Don't get involved."
But you must have been. That was only about your second or third game for Celtic,
No, fifth or something. Aye.
because it was October 87.
Something like that. My first game was against Hibs, and then you asked when you playing Rangers, and so it was at Ibrox a couple of weeks later, so 2 or 3 weeks later. So yeah,
Wow. So
and I
anyway.
always had goalkeepers anyway. Because listen, that's
Partly
what
But it would be,
they
you know, it would be
That's
good. It would be good to get one of the three bears on the podcast. It's clearly not going to be Terry Butcher. I think we've established that
Clearly
much.
not, aye.
But Chris Woods has said he's going to consider it.
Terry will tell him no now.
You reckon?
Chris is all right, and I think the three of them are all right. I mean, speak to Robbo,
Aye.
and he was the one that punched us at the top. I mean, I don't know.
I know. And also, you did a celebrity
That's part
boxing
of
match
football,
with
I
him.
done a celebrity boxing. We get two money, paid twice for that. We fought at the Bolton Stadium as well. Brilliant. I don't care. Same money the things I take money for.
What are you doing? What are you doing down there, Frank?
I think I found a leak.
You have found a leak.
Yes.
Wow. Well, I know the very people that can sort that out for you. Our new sponsor, Enviro-Clean Scotland, are perfect dealing with leaks, blockages, anything to do with your drains. They're brilliant, aren't they?
They're very good. You can't miss them. Huge trucks.
Big presence. You see their vans and their tankers everywhere. But the important thing is they don't just deal with the massive operations, the big industrial units, factories and so on. They also deal with domestic issues as well.
Small leaks.
Frank's found a wee leak, blocked sinks, overflowing gutters, grease traps. They'll sort it quickly with modern kit and properly trained teams. So it's not just huge factories and large industrial drains. They'll come out to your house as well. No job is too small. Whether it's a stubborn blockage or a messy overflow, Enviro-Clean gets it fixed without stress. It's a fast, reliable service, and they've been keeping Scotland flowing smoothly since 1997. And get in touch if you do have any kind of small drainage problems, whether it's a domestic house or a small business as well. Or maybe if you're a football manager and there's a leak in the dressing room. There's been a few of them in your dressing rooms over the years, Francis.
A few leaks, yes.
But Enviro-Clean Scotland. So if you want to find out more, visit evcsl.com. And Frank, what should people tell them?
Tell them Frank sent you.
The reason I love hearing Des do is Alan Partridge. There's a wee bit of history there. So when in my previous life, when I did a comedy podcast about learning the art of stand-up and all that, Des came on it a couple of times. And one occasion he had to pull out, and he sent me a text saying, "I'm really sorry, I can't make it. I'm going to have to kind of reschedule." And I replied and I said, "I'm only accepting that if you leave me a voice message in the style of Alan Partridge." And I think I've still got it. It was great.
Aye.
Do you remember
I think, it's Simon Houston. I can't make it. I've got lunch with Bill Audi, and that's here's the pound. No, I do remember it. I feel like
but you came on again twice though, because you came on and told me about your whole journey in comedy.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, when I did the 2 seasons, then you came on the final one, and it was a wee bit like, so what did you learn, basically?
And that's it.
You interviewed me, briefly.
That's it. Tables were turned and we asked about your comedy journey, and that was it, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a 2-minute podcast.
We did Bend It Like Bertie. We did Bend It Like Bertie. I get the same.
I got that.
It's all right. Thanks.
I like all the jokes in this podcast, I'll get it when I watch it. So.
We did Bend It Like Bertie. I get a similar voice message from the man doing Bertie Auld.
Yes.
When you asked, so I met Jim, went along to see his show, and he says, the next one I'm thinking of writing a Lisbon line. Who's the best? I mean,
is
who's
that you that done Bend It Like Bertie?
Bend It Like Bertie, aye. And he went, "What do you think? Can you do like?" And Bertie Auld is the greatest Celtic personality of all time. Greatest Celtic personality, biggest Celtic personality, biggest joker, comedian, brilliant, gallus, you know. And I left him a voicemail. Big Jock would always say, "You have the ability to entertain, It was all about entertainment, wasn't it, son? What a magnificent player. Oh my, listen, on it, wee Jinky would put bums on seats, then get you after your seats. Honestly, I promise you, son, I promise you it was magnificent. It was magnificent." And then he went, "Right, the gig's yours." And that was it. I left him a big voicemail. This was all during lockdown, so all the things. And then we went to Vegas with Bend It Like Bertie. And then, I've mentioned this many times, his family came along to see Bend It Like Bertie, and I was a bag of nerves because I thought, oh no, what if I'm no doing him right? I'm offensive, Robert, you know what I think, right? And Robert, absolute gentleman and lovely guy, the whole family came along. And then after it, Robert came down and he'd been greeting and all that, and he says, "What size are you in a blazer?" And Jim answered him, right? And I was like, what's he on about? He presented me with Bertie's Lisbon line blazer. You'd done a piece on it. And it was incredible, unbelievable. And, to get that, so that just shows you how much, and they came to see it 6 times, you know.
Superb.
So and Bertie's in this one as well. Obviously, you can't do the history without Bertie.
Of course.
So he's in it near the end. It's very emotional. There's a lot of.
What are the 4 nights in August? What dates?
The 4 nights. Saturday, it's Sunday. The last weekend. It's Thursday the 27th to Saturday the 29th. The last weekend.
Because I'm away the first week. Well, we should go along.
Aye.
Aye.
I would go on the Thursday night, I think.
But just Jim mentioned earlier on the premise about the start, right? Brother Walfred didn't found Celtic, right? It's me, this guy called Tam.
Okay.
Right? I'm a
comedy, right?
Remember, it's a comedy. See like Will Ferrell, the elf, saved Christmas. Well, it was me, right? He's Smeatle. He's getting all the credit for it, right? Brother Walfred. So he's doing a Smeatle. I know Smeatle won't be watching this. We know that because he's plays for
Smeatle, if you are watching it, where are you these days?
So anyway, Brother Wilfred didn't he got all the credit, right? He was a big kind of handsome thing, but whereas I'm just Tam, right? And I'm the flawed genius accountant, but too much carry on. He'd do all the voices and all that, and that's why you've got all the right. So I land in the 90s with Celtic on Deepest Darkest Trouble, right? They are really good, right? And I'm like, what's going on here? And that's how he watches all the Rocky videos and watches Bullseye, and it's to see who the sports personality of the year is and all that. And it's somebody called Chris Eubank. This man says my mother's a boxer. Why does this man? He said things about my family when this man says my mother's a boxer. And he's like, I can't make out a word he's saying. You know, Pally, the Adrian, the Mickey, you ain't gonna shut at no time, right? And he's watching all this stuff and all that, right? And he's going, and then he bumps into all the wee Neds who are all wearing trackies, and he's like, I can't make out a word they're saying. All right, I just went banjo tea rapid, and he was pure jellied up and all that. No. So you can imagine this guy get back, he's watching Chris Eubank, can't make out a word he's saying. Rocky, you know, Pally, the wee Neds. So he's thinking, what's going on here? So ends up, he comes back and he saves Celtic again. Brilliant. Right, and it's basically he's the.
We've got to be careful though not to give too much away because people will be watching this.
That's only 2% of it.
That's it, 2%. But the main thing is, I play a brilliant character who does all these too much carry on, does all these voices, comes back in the modern day, but
it's a feel good experience.
It's feel good, but it's very emotional, and it tells you it's factual. It tells you the whole. Everything that happened, bit by bit. It's got all the newspaper cuttings and all everything that happens and all the bits for the meetings and all that. So a lot of my mates were coming along and went, that is actually brilliant. You see it all. Jim misses nothing out. Absolute attention to detail. Everything. And people come away and go, that's what happened. And obviously there's a lot of fun alongside it with all the carry on. But it tells you the whole story from your final with the 2 goals right up to when Fergus 8 minutes from time saved it. Yeah. It is an absolutely incredible. Why there's not a statue of Fergus McCann at Parkhead, we do not know, do we?
Brian as well. We should put one with Brian. He's a man.
Fergus tends to divide.
Brian on his shoulders.
The support. And I think people.
Fergus was brilliant. See what he done with Andy Walker and he gave him the jersey to wear and he charged him for it.
That's right. I know.
I think.
But I think to be fair, someone made the point that if Fergus had taken a top himself, he would have paid for it. That way he was very kind of every thin dime.
Tommy had to go to him.
Every single thin dime. If you're going to wear the jersey, I'm just going to charge you for it, I
think as the years have went by, people have been more and more for Fergus. I think, obviously after we won the league and there was a sizable amount of fans booing him, from that day onwards, I think the support for Fergus has grown and grown and grown.
Of course it is.
And after 2012, when our ex-rival went out of business, people appreciated it more. And I just think that, people look at Fergus McCann and think, what a guy. And as you said, statue, whatever.
Wee question, do you think that Fergus came out a couple of weeks ago and he was on a train? Do you think Celtic haven't sent anything? And that can't be right.
It can't be right.
Fergus, surely you would have said, look, you're coming today, I'm going to send a car for you.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
It's difficult. I know. But he is the kind of guy. I don't want a limousine. I'll happily go on the train.
I think you're right, Des. I think that's probably more about Fergus than Celtic.
I think Celtic when they've done that.
I think he's not told them. He's just turned up and swing back up the road. People seen this Fergus.
But he didn't want any fuss made, Fergus. He just wanted to remember.
Surprised to get in then.
I know.
If he didn't,
you wouldn't be surprised if they barred him.
I've been up there and people go, you don't got a ticket.
I know.
I don't get it if I've not got a ticket.
No, so it just
I've not got a ticket if no.
What did you ever do for Celtic?
Quite right. That voice of Bertie, that hounds me because he told me I was never good enough, didn't he? When Thistle trial.
Bertie, did he?
Yeah, you're not good enough, son.
Listen, son, I don't think you're good enough for Thistle, right? But he says that about Alan Hansen as well.
Go back, Junior. That's what he said.
Did he say? How did you feel when? But you going well with Bertie, didn't you?
Brilliant! I knew that moment. That was the moment, when you get a change in life.
Was that an inspiration?
That was me. I knew then I was going to be a footballer because I knew I was better than his team.
Yeah,
and I just needed. I was like a swan vest of match, to be fair, but I just needed built up, and I'd red hair, that went as well. So, I just knew then.
That was before St Mirren.
I went back and signed for St Mirren.
Right.
So this is a good opportunity to remind everyone to please hit subscribe, hit the like button. Gives we like a like, don't we?
By the way, it's great. The subscribers are great, but we need more.
We do well, yeah. It's always good to get
more.
We've
got Saturday sorted out, have we? We got that all sorted.
Yes, so the folk have won their vouchers. I've been informed that there's still a week or two to go. There's still an opportunity for you to leave a comment and potentially win £50 worth of vouchers for Mr. Singh's India. Yes. In Glasgow.
Best curry in Glasgow.
So hit subscribe and hit the like button and leave comments. Comments are brilliant, really good. I'm glad you mentioned taking the Bertie show to Vegas because Des tells the story. And apologies, because you've told it a million times.
You mentioned it.
But I love this. So this would have been historically when you played Vegas before.
Yes.
As your maybe a solo show.
It's a stand-up show.
It's a stand-up show.
Yeah.
I won't spoil it for anybody, but someone offered you another gig in Scotland.
Right, I'll try and I'll kind of edit this in a wee bit, right? So I was going to Vegas 3 days' time, and I was playing the top of the Riviera, right? And I was doing a stand-up for the Celtic convention, right? And it was brilliant, headline act, amazing. And I was in all the papers. There was a 2-pager in the Evening Times that says "Viva Des Vegas." I thought you mean like that, right? Me, Sinatra, that the Rat Pack, that right? It was photoshopped, right? And right, I have to let you know that.
Back in there.
So stop with the partridge. So I'm all excited. I was on Janice Forsyth show on the radio. Brilliant. Going to Vegas, that's your dream. It's like, it's like you playing at Barcelona. Doesn't get any bigger than that. So I'm going out there to do this. And I thought, this is amazing. I'm going to Vegas. The case is all packed. Done on publicity, newspapers, TV, radio. It's amazing. Counting hours, and I get this phone call. You know how when a number comes up and you don't know, no caller ID sort of thing. I went, who's that? And it was like 077 whatever. And I thought, I'm in a good mood, I'm going to Vegas, I'll answer it. Hello. And this old guy went, hello, I'm looking to speak to a Mr. Des McLean, please. I went, speaking. He went, I was wondering if you're available on the 21st to come and play the Twecker and Miners Welfare Club. Right? And I'm like, and I'm playing Vegas then. And I thought, there's no a gig in the planet I'm going to drop for Vegas, let alone the Twecker Miners Welfare. I don't know if anybody knows Twecker that's watching. They still point at planes up there. There was one yesterday, aye. And then they get down the floors and start eating the grass again. Right? So Twecker, wee place up north east away by Kirkintilloch, called Sideway, right? And I thought, I can't tell this little guy I'm playing Vegas. He's going to feel really foolish, He's asking me do I want to play the Twecker Miners Club. And I went, no, I can't lie. I better just tell him. And I went, sorry, sir, I'm actually booked to play Vegas that night. And he went, pity, it's cash in the hand. Genuinely.
Brilliant.
As if I'm going to go, well, why did you not mention that?
I bet for a split second you thought, you know what stand-ups are like when it comes to cash in hand. So I think, well, how much are we talking?
And then I thought, I was like, he can't be right. This must be somebody taking a piss. And I thought, maybe he thinks Vegas is like a venue. Like you can imagine Vegas and Paisley. Come on, you get into Vegas and Paisley, man. I know the guy in the door and that. No. So I thought, he must think it's a venue in Kirkintilloch or something like that in the main street, right? And I went, it's actually Vegas in America. I went, I know. I just think you're making a big mistake. I went, what? He went, listen, he says, Vegas will always be there, son. Vegas will always be there. But the Twecker Miners and Welfare Club's getting shut down for a month to get rough casted. Genuinely, and then hung up me. Brilliant.
Oh, brilliant.
Another great Des McLean moment. Remember you did a lot of the voices in Radio Clyde as well on the George Bowie show?
Oh, yeah. The 8-10 sketches.
The 8-10 sketches. Yeah. But there was a very famous one where I'm pretty sure you phoned Sean Connery as Billy Connolly.
Well, see, when you do these phone calls, right, you're meant to, we done 3,000 phone calls, right, and Paul Cooney, he was the main man. He used to always, why was Plunge McNugget phoning the Vatican? all right, it's Big Johnny Boy there, Big Giant P, all right, and you'd be phoning at the Vatican as Plunge McNugget and all that, right? And go, oh my God, right? A lot of them never went out, right? So you needed their permission, right? If I phone you up, say you're right. If you phone up even a wee tyre place in Yoker, you have to say, all right, mate. The way you doing it was to say, George would go, you're live in Clyde once. So they'd be like, oh, it's too late now. Anybody you want to give a mention to? And that's it. So this time, it was a Monday morning, right? And I remember we were massively hungover, and there was a bank holiday. There was nowhere opened, and George Bowie went, by the way, Sean Connery's doing a book signing in Waterstones. And I thought, well, we're not going to get beyond his entourage. If Sean Connery's going to answer the phone, going to please just try it. It's Billy Connolly. That's plausible. That's it. I went, all right, I'll try it, but if it doesn't work, that's me. We're up the road, right? No bother. So play, record, we're in the studio, how the devil are you? It's Billy here, it's brilliant. I'm looking to speak to my big pal, Big Sean. Is he there, Big Sean Connery? Sir Sean, how is he? This woman with this Edinburgh accent went, there's now Sean Connery here. And he hung up me, right? And I went, there you go, we tried, right? I went out to my motor. Honest to God, right? And I went to drive away. I went, yes, up to my bed, right? And Bowie came out and bang, bang, bang. The bonnet, he went, Sean Connery's on the phone. Sean Connery's on the phone. He's looking for Billy Connolly. Well, he's looking for you. Come on, get in there, right? And I'll never forget it. All the news team went, don't do this. He's not got a sense of humour. His people will sue his family. He won't think you can't take it. Nobody can even do an impersonation. Don't. And I went, is he definitely here? I went, I'll get in here. And you were like, no, he's here. Headphones on, the whole place, they're all standing down. I went, hello, how are you? And this voice went, Billy, 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 how are you? And I shat myself. I genuinely went, oh, for fuck's sake, right? And then I don't know why I went, ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-ba, ba-da-dum. I went, we were waiting, we were expecting you, you fucker, right? And they were all going, don't swear, this is going to be comedy gold, this is going to be a fucking limit. And I was like, this will knock that fucking Galloway off the top spot, right? And the real radio rivals and all that, Robin, right? And I remember I kept swearing all the time because I thought this is never going to go right. We're never going to get permission off him, right? And I was like, and he went, so I'm doing a book signing here in Weatherstones, as we called it, with Waterstone, right? Called it Weatherstones, daft old fucker, right? And he went, and I thought this is Sean Connery, right? And then he went, so do you want to meet? You know, we can meet in the Scotsman Hotel in our usual wee place. You know, they must have had a special suite and all that. And if you want to meet there, maybe do a lunch or something. And I went, why don't we meet halfway at Hart Hill Service Station? You fucking madman. Away you go, you fucking nutter, you. Ho, 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 you fucker. And I thought, this is Sean Connery, James Bond. This is the guy who won an Oscar. And do you want to know how you get Cabon? He pulls a knife, you pull it down, he shines one of you, right? And I thought, and I'm a wee fucking prick taking the piss at him, right? And 27 minutes, the call went on for me talking a lot of shit to him, right? And then at the very end, I must have said something that he knew that Billy, that Billy wouldn't say. And I just went, I ran out of things to say. I wanted to dirty the fucker, right? And I went, so have you got any nice wee movies coming up? Anything a wee juicy movie? You know I haven't, Billy. You know I don't do that anymore. You were one of the first I told. And then went, you know, I don't think that was Billy Connolly. And hung up. And I went, right. Fuck. That was super sleuth. James Bond. What a fucking name. But here's the thing. Paul Cooney came down and he went, who was that? Is that who I thought it was? And George went, we got permission off him and everything. And I went, what? No, we didn't, right? And I couldn't believe it, right? And then I went, we can't put that out, right? Ofcom were going off or not, right? Ofcom were clamping.
Because it went out on Clyde, because I remember I was sitting outside Scots in primary school, because I had a child there.
It went mental.
Good save.
Good save.
But listening to it though, and I remember listening thinking that was absolutely incredible, but you cannot find that now.
No. And you know, every time we went on YouTube, it kept getting took off and everything, right? And I'll never forget it. I remember for the following 2 weeks, every time an email came in, I thought, that'll be his lawyers. Somebody walked in with a suit, I went, that'll be his lawyers. Nothing happened. I thought, maybe he doesn't listen to your show in the morning, right? And I thought it was right. And then I went to the Celtic game to collect a cheque for Cash for Kids, right? In the middle in the centre circle, and I thought, this is great, walking out Parkhead. And I went back, right, to my seat, and Billy Connolly stood there, just where I was sitting. And he went, McLean, you wee fucker. Right? And he wasn't happy, right? And I went, you alright? No, I'm no fucking alright. And I was like, is that about? Aye, it's a poor old fucker on the phone for fucking 30 minutes, you fucking madman.
There's a lot of bleeping going on here, isn't there?
Right, there is, and I went, listen, this is, they made me do it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to totally shattered, right? And I went, Billy, it wasn't my fault, right? And I went, it was only a laugh, Billy. He went, only a laugh, it was fucking brilliant, right? And gave me a big hug, and I thought, that's a nice wee story you can tell the grandma, isn't it?
So good. Brilliant. That was fantastic.
Sean's still never, like Terry Butcher, Sean's never spoke to me again.
I was struggling to speak to him now, right enough, but that was just that was. So we're getting. Does Billy Connolly pop up on the show as well then?
Billy's in it. Sean's in it. Aye. Chris Eubank's in it. Sylvester Stallone's in it.
Columbo.
Jim Bowen's in it. Columbo's in it. Rapsy Nisbet's in it.
Donald Duck.
Donald, everything. There's for pensioners to kids. It's amazing.
So as someone who's a very very
Jim
good
White,
someone who's a very good mimic.
John Mackay. He tells you about Mo Johnson being a wee bastard. No, he doesn't.
So the only person who's ever really tried to impersonate Frank would be Jonathan Watson or Tony Roper ahead of Jonathan Watson.
Tony Roper done him.
Frank doesn't strike me as a very easy person to impersonate.
She birds. She me. She birds. I could bring that 90s one.
That's you impersonating Johnny
That's
Watson.
me impersonating him. No, that's what they do. No, that was me only doing that. Me doing Johnny. Because that's what people do, you know. When people do Connolly,
it's funny when you're out, and I go to the New Year dance, I go to New Year all the time, and I was in the Hilton one year, and the guy came up to me and he's going, oh, you were brilliant early on. And I'm going, what? I said, you know that's not me, don't you? You just couldn't separate it. You were brilliant and only an excuse. I'm going, you know that's not me. You know, he just didn't. He thought it was me. And I'm going, you're having a laugh, ain't you?
But funny, because me and Des Clark were on a gig Friday night together, and the twos were going, she me, she bugs, she hung with the twos for just in a wee bit of
Des does that.
So the twos were giving that,
he does all that, no. I know, he does a good one. I think Des was it Des that was playing a golf tournament. It was, he played that. closest to the line.
Aye, longest drive.
I had to win it, didn't I? Well, Des, he did right through the whole fucking slaughtered me. Just like it had to be you, didn't it?
Well, you won it. You won the straightest drive.
The closest to the line. That was.
The line goes up the middle of the fairway.
That was a joke, wasn't it? Closest to the line because he fucking. He absolutely crucified me.
That's what happened.
Which was a comedy goal for him. He loved it. He's a good boy.
No, brilliant.
He's a good lad.
Oh, this has been really good fun. We get 50 odd minutes already.
I know.
I have to think about winding up fairly soon.
I know.
Because we try to keep the podcasts not too long. We're still feel as though we're kind of novices at this, but we've been doing it for over a year, a year and a bit.
Well.
But sometimes you get some episodes that you don't want to stop because Bill McMurdo, for example, had so many stories. It went on for about best part of an hour and a half, and we felt as though we hardly scratched the surface. Brian McClare was another one. All the stories about Fergie and whatever. Oh, what about Fergie? Did you him?
No. As Frank says there, when somebody else is kind of, that's their thing, like John, about you going, that's theirs.
Fair enough.
I need to tell you a quick story about when I got that Bertie Auld blazer, since it's a kind of Celtic podcast. And I couldn't believe it. I sent my mother a photo, and she went, "Oh my God, Bertie Auld! I can't believe it." I went, I'm getting that, and I have to wear it for the rest of the tour. I have to wear it for all the shows, to Vegas, to Oban, and all that, right? Oban was the very first one, and brilliant. And to wear it was the next best thing to wearing, to pulling on your boots or a Celtic tap. It was the next best thing. You're wearing the great man who he would go about telling stories to people and all that his partner, right? And then it was in the paper, and then it was online, and you know how when you read something in the paper, that's fine, nobody can say anything, but the minute something goes online, there's always a negative comment. All the comments were brilliant. They went, "Des, you deserve that. You brought so much happiness to the family. You're keeping the spirit alive. You're keeping the spirit of Bertie. Bertie would have loved this show." And it was really emotional. I thought, this is lovely. And it was all positive until one Rangers wee badge came up, right? And it says, "Des McLean is an unfunny Fenian bastard." And I thought, unfunny, that's the order. And my wife went, "What about the Fenian bastard?" But I went,
it's that talking about that blazer, it's brilliant. We see them all. I mean, you walk in at Celtic Park, that was a lot of players, walk in there and being a Celtic supporter, and you see all the lines walking about, especially when you're walking in for a game and they've all got the blazers on.
Do you know?
It was just very special, and Bertie and that.
See, you pull that on.
I know.
And by the way, I was in tears because I only get $3,500 for it on eBay.
Does your kitchen? Does your kitchen?
Two guys came to fit a new kitchen, right? And then they were one was two of them Celtic mad, right? And one was a typical Rangers fan, Celtic fan, slagging one or half and all that, right? Now he's saying me slag one. Russell Martin's a dick and all the way they're going, right? The wee Celtic guy even had a vape, Celtic vape, all right? Stood on there like pure Celtic mad. All his phone was all Celtic. Go down to Celtic, doing a tour of Celtic, doing a tour of Parkhead, that right? And he went, "Is it my dad says that you've got Bertie Auld's blazer? Is that right?" As if I'd knocked it, And I went, no, been presented with it. Yes, that's right. And I went, once you finish the kitchen, all that'll be it. I'll let you see it. Any chance? I just want to take a photo. Right? And I brought it out, and obviously there's polythene over it. It's like shroud as you're in, right? And I'm holding it like Bertie Auld. But it is, it's magnificent, as Bertie would say. And he went, "Can I touch it?" Dead serious. And I went, "No, you can't touch. You can touch it over the polythene." And he went, right, and started rubbing it over the polythene. It was like feeling a lassie's tit out of the jumper. Sorry, you know it, right? Right, so I'm in the company of the great man here. You know exactly what it's like, Macca. So if he wasn't, he's doing that, if you go out of the polythene, "That's amazing. Can I take a photo, Major?" Right, genuinely. So that was him. I went, I got to feel Bertie's blazer out of the polythene. The one right on. Aye, genuinely, aye. So the wee guy, that was him made up. They put it on Instagram and all that. But, so amazing.
But I suppose you have to be a bit careful with it as well, because you want to get, make sure it doesn't get damaged if it's dry cleaned or whatever.
Make sure you don't put any weight on, so it's all fishy.
That's it, exactly. So, and it fitted me like a glove, didn't it, Jim? Like an absolute glove. I thought, right,
Cinderella.
I'm getting this.
It was meant
to be.
Cinderella.
And it was Cinderella moment.
Yeah.
When Robert put it on me, it fitted me like a glove, and I thought, this is magnificent, by the way. That was me. It was on, and I became Bertie. It was, honestly, promise you, it was brilliant.
Did the Centenary boys have a blazer uniform?
Aye, that's a grey one somewhere. Nah.
What's that? Do they? No.
Just a suit. They've always suits every year they get a suit.
But I'm trying to remember seeing a picture of you guys all.
Cup final, wasn't
You
it?
had the night of the 30th anniversary.
I think it was off his layers.
Yeah, it was 3 years' time. 3 years' time, you'll be there for the 40th anniversary night.
I know, mate. I know. It's one of them.
You and Terry Butcher.
Terry's coming down to London because it's 40th anniversary in January. The boy's 86, so we'll get him down because we relegated Ipswich. Just get on again.
Who was it used to say, you wouldn't let it lie? Who was it used to say that? You wouldn't let it lie. Was that?
I wouldn't let it lie.
No.
But I mean, there's a connection with Billy Connolly. I think him on the telly there, and it was you.
That was me.
And it was there's a taxi driver. All right, mate. And you go, do you know who this man is? And Connolly goes, it's you, McElvany.
That's right.
I'm talking to Billy, and he says, because everyone didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
And he was getting in. He was just coming out of studios, and we were just getting in. So we were on the bridge and all that, and he said, brilliant. Came down, we're standing there, and Billy says, no problem. So he says, do you know who this is? And he says, yeah. And he just says, Hugh McElvany, and ran away. Well, I busted. I'm killed myself laughing. Because I'd met Billy a few times, so we're having a laugh.
It's just this surreal bit. Billy jumps in, it's Hugh McElvany, and runs away.
What I loved about that clip, because obviously the whole point of them taking him out on the streets of London was
so
because
that people could.
They didn't know what he looked like because the TV strike. Aye, there was a broadcast
And then
dispute.
you know Logan, didn't you, with a clean suit on?
That's right. And they're all saying, but they're saying that the London taxi drivers, who's Frank McElvany? Frank McElvany is like, it's the guy that's scoring all the goals for them, isn't it? And they're like, who's that? No idea. I didn't know.
I know.
Because I didn't know what he looked like.
Big guy with a beard and all that. Big Scot, other visions of Scotsman's big guy with red hair and beards. Big guy. Plays up front. They're going, that's some skinny runt. No, you're fucking joking.
So that shows you even then
yes.
that we just no television. You didn't. So that shows you once again. Back then, there was
nice
no
way
social
to wrap it
media,
up.
no WhatsApp groups and all that, and yet they still managed to sack the board.
So right, well let's finish with a proper plug then. So if you're watching this now, brilliant idea for a wee Christmas present to get tickets for the show at the Pavilion. And if you know the history, ? Written by Jim Orr, starring Des McLean. How do you go about getting tickets? There's
Pavilion
a QR code there.
Pavilion website's the best. Just go on your phone, Pavilion website, and if you know the history. And Thursday, Friday, Saturday afternoon, a wee matinee, and a wee fish tea. And then Saturday night, 4 shows, brilliant. One of the best things I've ever been, honestly. Do you remember the one night you and Bertie done the Ranza in Blackhill?
Of course I do, remember. Of course I do.
And I was there at the opening of the new Windy in the Ranza Club, and I'm not joking. Right, they'd never had a Windy in this place. Wonder why all the gangsters are sitting there like that. It was me, you and Bertie. What a laugh it was.
Bertie was talking and just talking and talking. It just never shut up. And I was supposed to talk in a Q&A and all that, and he said to me, what are you looking forward to? And I'm saying, I'm looking forward to the guy's dying so I can get a question in. If he's asking me nothing. He's asking me nothing.
Was Bertie interrupting you?
Oh my God.
Now you know how our guests feel.
Bertie.
But that's the thing though, Bertie would go and do a wee gig, and it was a wee charity night for somebody in to the deepest, darkest Blackhill. Right, the Ranza, right, rough.
It was good.
No, it was a great night. And then so from Vegas to the Ranza to thing, but even after Bertie told you that, you obviously still loved the guy, didn't you?
I love him. Oh God, yes.
Even though
Absolutely
he told you, but you said that was an inspiration though, him saying that.
It was in it, but any time I seen him at Celtic, but you know he likes to hold court.
Aye,
and every time out there, he was holding court, and I'm going, all right, but he's giving me a card and that. I couldn't get in, and then I kept saying, what a good look at it, you good scout you are, aren't you, for players not in Bertie's like that, and he just blanks you.
Did you never tell him about it ever?
I kept saying to him, what a good judge you are, players, football players and all that kind of stuff, and Bertie was like laughing. And then all of a sudden I come up one time with a big host, a big entourage, and I thought I'm sneaking up behind him, and somebody must have said, Frank McElvany's coming up behind you, and he turned around and he went, he says, we were that good at this, so we couldn't even give him a game.
He turned that around. That's what he's always
brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Also,
go on, Jim.
Just to finish it, I think what you've seen from today in the podcast is the actual play is like what you've just seen today. It's just the character he plays is exactly the same. Never stops. Cracking jokes all the time. And as I said, he can like some of this family. So it's first and foremost a comedy.
Yes.
Comedy. Bit of a nostalgia piece. You go back 35 years, you look at a family living through the Celtic times, and then there's all the facts about what actually happened at that time. Brian Dempsey or David Lowe, the Kellys, the Whites, Tony Cascarino, Nushital, all that stuff.
And also there's a great 90s soundtrack all the way through it. Jim Orr is the Quentin Tarantino of Celtic plays. There's a great soundtrack all the way through it, and there's a nostalgic 90s. It was brilliant. Remember when the Fox ran in the park and all the fans were saying there's only two Michael Kellys and all that. That's the kind of thing that you've got to if you don't laugh you'll greet. If you do not laugh you'll cry, right? And that's what happened then back in the 90s. And obviously it couldn't be more topical than it is just now.
And it'd be hard to rate a comedy play of it just now. It'd be hard to rate a comedy play of it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
you never know.
I know.
You might.
Next year. That's next year.
Things were definitely worse back then, though. The Celtic team. I mean, Rangers were power
I know
99 in a row.
I know they were worse. I never get paid.
There you go.
Celtic were finishing fourth in the league and getting to get in, and a Scottish Cup semi-final was deemed a successful campaign, you know. Anyway, we'll wrap it up there. It's
been great.
Hopefully that's whetted your appetite for getting some tickets for this, because it's going to be a tremendous show at the Pavilion August next year. Great for the Christmas stocking filler, as Des says. So, Des McLean, Jim Orr, absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. Thanks very much for coming along.
It's been our pleasure.
Thanks for coming on.
And we will see you all again next week. And I think we might have another episode. I'll squeeze one more in potentially before, okay. and then the week after that you'll have Frank on a beach in Jamaica, Maldives, with his laptop doing a Zoom call. I try to do a Zoom call, so that'd be worth watching.
That'll be interesting, yeah. If I can get it on.
Right, join us again soon for another episode of Let Me Be Frank, and we'll speak to you later. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.